Right, today we're looking at Song of Solomon, also known as Song of Songs. So it's a love poetry, in the Bible. Some people see this Song of Solomon as the man as God and the woman as Israel. So they see it as a love poem between God and Israel. Some see it as the man as Jesus, the woman as the church. So they see it as a love poem between Jesus and the church. And some see it just as a love poem between a man and a woman. So I'm going to treat it as a love song, a love poem between a man and a woman. So you can deduce it however you want. So when I mention the man, you can put God in there or put Jesus in there. When I mention the woman, you can put Israel or the church in there. But I'm treating it as a love song, a love poem between a man and a woman. So it's a love story, as I said. It starts off with this young lady and this young man. They love each other immensely. She really loves him, but she's concerned about her dark skin. Her skin has got darker because she's been helping her brothers in their vineyards. So she's worried because during those days, it's normally the slaves and the servants who have darker skin because they're out in the sun. They're always out in the sun. While the other rich people, and the daughters of the household, they stay indoors. So they're under the shade, under the tree. A slave is carrying an umbrella, follow them around. So their skin is much paler. So she doesn't know what this man is going to think about her dark skin. But they still love each other all the same. She asks him how she can find him. And he says, just follow the footprints of my sheep. Then you'll find me there and you can bring your own sheep and we can feed and water our sheep together. So, and then she thinks she's not special. She thinks she's nothing special. This man can have any woman that he wants. But he reassures her that he thinks she's very special and he thinks she's very beautiful. So when I was reading that bit, it reminded me of the love song by Ed Sheeran, Perfect, when he said, when you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but she heard it, darling, you look perfect tonight. So I remember that by Ed Sheeran, the song Perfect, because she was thinking she looks a mess, and he whispered underneath his breath saying, no, darling, you look perfect tonight. But she heard it. So this woman, this lady in the love song is saying she doesn't think she's anything special, and the man says that no, you are special. And she compares him to a gazelle, like a strong animal. So he proposed, but for some reason she refused. She turns him down, and then she immediately regrets it. So he leaves, but she goes and starts looking for him everywhere because she's regretting the decision she made. Maybe she still doesn't think she's good enough for him, that he can have any woman that he wants. Or maybe she was having cold feet, and she thought, okay, she should wait. We don't know why she refused him. Then she goes looking for him. She finds him, thank God, and then she takes him home to her mother. And now they are now making arrangements for a wedding. So he describes her beauty from top to toe. Now in those days, all these descriptions would make sense. It would not make any sense in our day now. He says her hair is like a flock of goats. Her teeth is like a flock of sheep. Her face are like halves of a pomegranate. Her neck is like the Tower of David. Her breasts are like two fawns of a gazelle. Her eyes are like doves. Her lips are like scarlet ribbon. Her mouth is lovely. Now, as I said, these would make sense back in those days. Nowadays, if you go to a woman and you tell her, because you are trying to pay her a compliment, and you say her neck is like the Tower of David, I'm not so sure it's going to go down well. you know, she's going to say, excuse me, did you just insult me? And you'd be like, no, I'm just trying to pay you a compliment. I read this in the Song of Solomon. You know, it's not going to go down well in our society today. But those days, this would have really pleased the woman. She would have smiled. She would have beamed from ear to ear. You know, and then it seems like she may have had a dream where the man was trying to come in, but she was terrified. She could not get up, or she had this sleep paralysis. We really don't know if this really happened or if it was a dream. She had this sleep paralysis, or she was frightened in her dream, and she couldn't get up to go and open the door for him. So he tries and he knocks, and even he puts his hand through the letterbox trying to open the door from in between, but he can't open it, and eventually he leaves. So after he leaves, she is now able to get up from the bed. She opens the door, she rushes outside, she calls him, but he's gone. So she's running around on the streets trying to look for him. She can't find him. And these watchmen, they see her and they beat her and, you know, and send her back home. So possibly they thought she may be a prostitute, because in those days women will not be out in that time of the night. And maybe she was in her nightie, she forgot, she just rushed out. So we don't really know, but she gets beaten up and then she goes home. She eventually finds him in the garden, and they express their love for each other, and they get married. They do the celebration, the marriage celebration with other people. And he compliments the way she dances. You see, the first compliments was about her hair, her eyes, her lips, her neck. But this one is now it comes down to her legs, that he likes the way she dances, the way she moves her legs. Remember, it's a love poem. It says her legs are like jewels, her navel are like rounded goblet. So she's probably wearing those I don't know what they're called when they dance with it. It's normally in the Middle East, and it revealed her tummy, you know, and she's dancing, and so he can see her navel. It says her navel is like rounded goblet. It says her waist is like a mound of wheat. It says her nose is like the Tower of Lebanon. And then she said she belongs to him. She's going to be his forever. And then in the last chapter, she says before she got married, her love was for her brothers. You know, she was looking after her brothers and everything. And now her love is for her husband, and she's going to be his forever. You know, and they sail off into the sunset, and they live happily ever after. And that is the book of Song of Solomon. Go and read it for yourself. It's a love story. You can make of it what you will. Maybe it's between God and Israel. Maybe it's between Jesus and the church. Maybe it's just a love song between a man and a woman. You know, make of it what you will. But there you go. That's a lesson. You know, if you have a girl, compliment her, pay her compliment. Don't say her neck is like the Tower of David. You know, I would not recommend that. You know, and just do things the right way. Get married, have children, live happily ever after. God bless you. Bye.